Hello and welcome everybody to today's reaction video. I'm going to be watching the newest death battle, Ghost Rider vs. Spawn. Now, I'll admit, I'm late to this one. I am like 2 weeks late to this one. Possibly even later, depending how long it takes me to edit this down for YouTube. I usually upload the day after the video comes out, so that, I'll admit, is on my part. Oopsies. Whoops. But, diving into the characters that are going to be used in the death battle, before we really click on the video, I watched the original death battle a long time ago, because this is a rematch, right? It's a rematch of the characters, looking at them with the way death battle looks at characters nowadays. I think Spawn won originally, didn't he? Or am I stupid? It was a long time ago. So yeah, I don't remember much about the characters. I remember Ghost Rider goes on a motorcycle, his head's on fire, he has the penance stare, which is like really hard to overcome in general, and he uses chains as well. And Spawn, I remember he can like teleport. He can teleport, and he also has something to do with hell, I think. And that's it. That's what I'm going into this death battle with. So I don't have anything to make a prediction off of yet, especially with my limited information on Spawn. I would, if I didn't think that Spawn won the last death battle, I would probably guess that that Ghost Rider would win because the penance stare is just that powerful. But I do think Spawn won the first one, so it's possible that Spawn is a lot more powerful than I am remembering. He probably is. So, and let's just jump right on into it. I'm pretty excited because this looks like it has some 2D animation and some sprite animation for the battle itself.
Spirit of Vengeance versus the Dark Angel of Armageddon.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
It's exciting.
It's our job to analyze their weapons,
And look at the
armor, and
background.
skills to find out who will
Spawn
win.
shooting guns. They both have giant lasers. The preview looks like it's gonna be pretty sick. Even if the characters are just animated via sprites. Death Battle's just gotten really good with their animation lately, even sprite animations.
Death Battle. Johnny Blaze has always been a man possessed, chasing the thrill
Johnny
of certain
Blaze.
doom by performing death-defying stunts, following the example of his adoptive father, Crash Simpson.
Until the day Crash lived up to his name and got cancer. Heartbroken
Crash lived up to his name and got cancer. I see what you did there, subverting expectations.
and without enough Wampa fruit to save him, Johnny
Wampa fruit, because his name is Crash. See, yeah, no, you get it. You get the joke.
turned to the only thing that could.
The
Chemotherapy.
devil.
Oh,
To cure Crash's cancer, Johnny sold his soul to Mephisto.
I feel like there are a few steps you would want to take before selling your soul to the devil, right? So you start out, and you have an issue with your life. Okay, maybe try a few other approaches, you know? Maybe, okay, so dad's got cancer. Let's raise funds, maybe? Do a GoFundMe or something? See if we can get something for a procedure. If that doesn't work, maybe we can try alternatives. And if things are really looking bad, maybe, just maybe, we can turn to the devil at that point. Just maybe.
King of the 8th layer of hell.
only for Crash to actually live up to his name right after.
Oh.
Instead of scooping up
So Johnny sold his soul to the devil to cure his father's cancer, and then his father died in a motorcycle crash anyway while performing a stunt. At least he went out how he wanted, you know, in that way. He'd probably rather go out like a badass blowing up in flames on a motorcycle than, you know, losing to cancer.
Johnny's soul, Mephisto had something else in mind. He bound Johnny to an instrument of divine wrath, Zarathos, the spirit of vengeance.
Zarathos.
So Johnny Blaze lived up to his name and burst into hellfire. An undead skeleton biker with a sick-ass hug. The 5th scariest Nick Cage performance. The stuntman from hell. He called himself the Daredevil.
Daredevil? That's not who he is.
Sorry, Johnny, that name's taken.
Okay, then how about the Ghost Rider?
Does a character like Ghost Rider really need to worry about names being taken? You know, and like copyright issues? Because does Ghost Rider really need to worry about what his name is and if it's taken? He is Ghost Rider.
Sure, we definitely didn't forget that we named the character the same thing only 5 years earlier. Oh.
Wait, so Ghost Rider was also a name that was taken? But it was like a guy on a ghost horse. But they thought that this one was cooler because he's got a motorcycle and a leather jacket and a flaming skull.
The Ghost Rider was bad news for Earth sinners and scumbags.
Okay, so Ghost Rider. His name is Johnny Blaze. He's 188 centimeters. That is 6'2" for you Americans out there. Ha! I am American. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm just reading it in order. Ghost Rider is 220 pounds, so he's a little bit of a hefty boy, considering he looks actually fairly lean in terms of how he's built. Bound to the spirit of vengeance. He's the former king of hell, apparently. And apparently, Johnny Blaze isn't the only Ghost Rider. There's also Danny Ketch and Robbie Reyes.
He's strong enough to pull down skyscrapers,
Oh, damn.
blow up mountains,
Oh,
and
damn.
cause earthquakes that can be felt across whole countries.
Don't
Oh,
even
damn.
think about fighting.
Okay, so he can cause earthquakes. Like, that went in escalation of power. So in terms of a death battle, the top strength feat we need to consider right now is the fact that he caused an earthquake that could be felt across the entire country.
Back. He can remake his whole body from the hellfire that engulfs him,
Oh.
making him immune to all physical damage. Only holy weapons that target his soul can harm him.
Okay, that's an important thing to take into consideration. Ghost Rider's body is mystical in nature and not subject to ordinary bodily limitations, such as fatigue. Attempts to tamper with his biological makeup have proven ineffective. So I'm assuming you can't, like, poison him or anything. He's literally just a magical being made of magical fire, and you can only hurt him by attacking his soul directly, is what we're learning here.
It's not just his body. His whole arsenal is hellfire. Ghosty can create anything he can think of, from an infinite stream of chains, a shotgun packed with fiery rounds, or a flaming missile barbed.
What? His fire is less like just flames and more like a Green Lantern ring. He's just creating whatever the hell he wants out of it. A flaming missile launcher. Like, what is that? What is sin manipulation? He has regenerative healing. That's not a surprise, considering they said he can come back from just the flames of his hellfire. He's got mystic chains, hell cycles, of course. He can't go around without his motorcycle. Ghost Rider just walking around is a lot less threatening. His aura diminishes quite a bit, I'd say. He has demonic magic and the damnation stare. Is that different from the penance stare? Or do I just have the names mixed up?
Right out of his mouth! Life goals.
And he can imbue other objects with hellfire, such
Oh.
as his hell cycle.
Wait, so he can turn other vehicles into, like, his hell cycle? Just any car he drives or whatever? Could you imagine him driving a scooter or a Segway, and it's just the most, like, souped up Segway or scooter that you've ever seen in your life?
This badass bike can outpace Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which can
Oh.
cross the universe in seconds.
Hellfire.
Okay, so he's fast. He's fast as hell. Literally fast as hell.
Fire is a weapon in and of itself, whether shot out of his hands, raining down from the sky, or released from his...
Nick Cage, what are you doing? I think Nick Cage can just do that on his own. Honestly, that wasn't even scripted in the movie. That's not CGI. Nick Cage just kind of did that.
His boner, Wiz. Get it? And it doesn't just scorch flesh. Hellfire is so deadly, it can burn away your very soul.
This technique would be mastered by Johnny's successor, his own brother, Danny Ketch.
Oh yeah, Johnny's not the only Ghost Rider. And
Oh, wait. There's a Ghost Rider on a horse, but different from before.
Brother, Danny Ketch.
Look at this. Look at this. That horse is on fire. That's like a straight up Horseman of the Apocalypse situation right there. He's got a cowboy hat and everything. I kind of like that design more than the motorcycle even.
yeah, Johnny's not the only Ghost Rider. And Danny was the first to master their most famous move. You know, the one that burns your soul to smithereens with just
The
a
penance stare?
The penance stare.
Yeah, I've been building this up for like the whole video.
The penance stare inflicts upon its victims every ounce of pain they ever wreaked upon others. Every cruelty, no matter how small or righteous, is reflected back.
It's the biggest no you ever. Like, you just... every single piece of damage you've ever dealt to other people, all the harm, you feel it all at once on your soul, and that doesn't sound healthy. Even generally good people, like, you're feeling every ounce of pain you've ever caused another person, whether intentional or not. That's still got to be pretty rough for pretty much anybody.
A biblical punishment.
Obliterating your soul. It even works on other Ghost Riders, like when Johnny and Danny got into a staring contest and Danny actually depowered Johnny.
Eyes are windows.
Oh, that's important to know, because the Ghost Rider we are following here is Johnny. So technically he lost the penance stare contest against the other guy, the other Ghost Rider. So he might not be the strongest in terms of it. So if Spawn has a similar ability, it's possible he could still overpower it. We want to take that into consideration.
To the soul, so the Ghost Rider must be able to match his victim's gaze for the penance stare to work. Some people have survived.
So you have to look into their eyes.
Supposedly because he didn't regret his actions, but it did work on him on other occasions.
Well, Johnny can adjust how deadly it is, and it doesn't necessarily have to kill you. He can use the stare to read minds, force you to confess info, or just show you the error of your ways.
Okay, so it doesn't have to kill. But in a death battle, obviously he's gonna crank it up to 11.
Remember, the Ghost Rider is two souls in one body, with the kinder Johnny battling the demon Zarathos in a war of control.
Ah, classic Faustian bargain. All the power in the world, but if you want it, it uses you. Because if Johnny gives in, the demon's full might will take over, and then everything is screwed.
Yeah, so that's gotta be foreshadowing, right? I know it's important to mention that, but, like, he's gonna do that in the fight, right? He's gonna have to give 100%, and he's gonna give in to Zarathos, and he's gonna, like, fuck shit up, right? That's what I'm hearing. And if that happens, does Johnny even technically win because he had to give in to the demon inside of him?
Zarathos' strength is boundless.
Oh! Well, that's good to know.
He can open up portals between dimensions, control the elements, penance stare an entire city, and fly
A whole
all the
city?
way to Asgard, which is a literal infinite distance away.
He's manhandled some of Marvel's heaviest.
What? Okay, these stats are a little broken. I'm not gonna lie. Zarathos, these are specifically stats about Zarathos. He's got demonic physiology. He can manipulate nature. He's the source of Ghost Rider's power. He can manipulate magical energy. He's had other hosts, and he might even be an angel, apparently. So this seems like it's more gonna be about if Spawn can overcome Zarathos, because even if he beats Johnny, it seems like Zarathos is gonna be the ultimate, like, trump card that he's gonna have to overcome. The, like, last line of defense.
Hitters like Thor, World War Hulk, and Doctor Strange. Hell, Strange said Zarathos is a threat to all realms, mortal and immortal.
Hyperbole? Think again. The Archangel Zadkiel said that the power of the Ghost Rider could threaten all of existence, and even bring down heaven itself.
Right before an army of Ghost Riders did just that.
Oh, shoot. We don't want an army of them. One of them is powerful enough.
Yeah, an army. The spirits of vengeance are legion.
As far back as the Great Flood.
While the first heavenly spirits of vengeance emerged after the Great Flood, Mephisto has been creating them even earlier. The first recorded Ghost Rider appeared circa, that's very BC, and teamed up with a young Odin and the first ever Iron Fist.
Blood, humans have been bonded to the vestiges of God's power to act as his divine wrath on Earth. A sort of heavenly Black Ops.
Okay, wait, does that make Zarathos an angel now? Or is he still a demon?
Both? Neither? Despite being one of the greatest entities in existence, it's unclear. What we do know is that ages ago, Zarathos feasted on souls and battled Mephisto for rulership of his realm.
So does Zarathos just do whatever he wants?
Claimed victory and gained control of Zarathos forevermore. Hence how he could bond him to Johnny.
Oh, so Mephisto is probably the reason he's serving hell right now, though, right? Like, maybe Zarathos isn't inherently, like, evil, though he is the spirit of vengeance, so, like, there's aspects of that that are just inherently gonna be morally dubious anyway.
But Zarathos got his revenge against that big red bitch.
Well, the spirit of vengeance getting revenge, that's not too surprising.
With another Ghost Rider, Alejandra Jones. Bet you wish you had one more day to fix that hole in your chest, huh?
Comic book fan punching bag though
I
he may
caught
be,
that.
Mephisto is unbelievably powerful. A battle with him could cause omniversal Armageddon.
Omniversal?
His fight with Galactus rents the cosmos asunder.
And Galactus' fights can destroy all of Marvel's infinite multiverse. That's the kind of awesome
What the
power at
hell?
Zarathos' disposal. Total cosmic annihilation.
So it was no surprise when Johnny went down to the underworld and took Hell's throne for himself, usurping the devil that ruined his life and finally grabbing destiny by the handlebars.
Scoring the total power of hell
So he just became the ruler of hell himself. No one could just prevent him from doing that.
itself, plus a sick-ass upgrade, the Damnation Stare, which skips the...
Oh, so the Damnation Stare is different from the Penance Stare. You know, if I had a nickel for every Marvel character named Johnny that can catch their body on fire, I'd have 2 nickels. You got Johnny Storm and Johnny Blaze now. The Human Torch and Ghost Rider. So, I've been thinking about that ever since they said his name. I was like, huh, what do you know?
Oh, every pain you've ever inflicted thing and just sends you straight to hell. No shot.
As they say,
So
though,
so the Damnation Stare just sends you straight to hell. He can just look in people's eyes and send them to hell. Good to know, good to know. I think Spawn is a character that can just enter and leave hell as he pleases, though, so that shouldn't be a problem for him. I think that was even brought up in their first death battle.
uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Johnny began an obsessive crusade to capture all of Hell's escaped demons. But by using his new power to damn them to hell, he began absorbing their evil, feeding off of it, and it corrupted him.
He can absorb evil? I guess that's fair. He's like a being of sin and whatnot.
Once again, Johnny Blaze was a man possessed.
In truth, Johnny was just as trapped by Hell's power as he'd always been, and he needed Danny's help to pull him out of the darkness.
Though he gave up Hell's throne, the Ghost Rider continues his war against demons without and within, mentoring his fellow Ghost Riders in the ways of vengeance, always prowling the highways for the evil and the profane.
An unstoppable engine of judgment that, with just a glance, could make Galactus himself shit his pants.
Maybe one day he'll find salvation in the eyes of one of his victims.
Cause they sure as hell won't find any in his.
Johnny's really powerful. He has unlimited omniversal feats going on. That's really good. don't know enough about Spawn to know if he can be durable enough to handle that.
This battle is sponsored by Robin Hood Gold LLC.
Okay, now on to Spawn.
If Al Simmons was one thing, he was a killer.
A lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and the CIA's most decorated assassin, Simmons upheld democracy around the globe at the barrel of a gun.
Okay, so right off the bat, he definitely has more combat training than Ghost Rider does. That's worth noting.
Painting the third world in red, white, and blue, but mostly red.
Until his
Fair
final
enough.
fateful mission when, per his boss's orders, Al was fired.
The burning was only getting started because Al's
Damn.
immortal soul was on a one-way trip to hell.
Where he cut a deal with Malvosia, the
Oh my god, what kind of creature was that? That was nightmare fuel.
big, naked lord of the Eighth Circle of Hell.
By their pact, Simmons would be reborn a hell spawn, a superpowered...
Why did I just realize that Spawn stems from the word hell spawn? His name is Spawn. How did I just now get that?
commander of Hell's armies, in exchange for seeing his wife one more time.
Oh, buddy, you're just asking to get monkey's blood.
Al Simmons returned from the dead as a decaying zombie 5 years later. After his wife had
gross.
already remarried and had a daughter.
There, you saw her. Now get back to work, bitch.
Thus was born the
Well, that's why you gotta be a lot more specific when it comes to monkey's paw type wishes. You know what I'm saying? You can't just make a wish in a few words.
dead warrior from hell itself, Spawn.
He's so 90s that he comes all the way back around to being the coolest thing ever.
So, his name is Albert Francis Simmons, goes by Al, of course. He is 6'3". Both of these contenders are over 6 feet tall. I don't remember how tall Ghost Rider was, I think it was 6'2". But, dang. 400 pounds! Oh my god! Ghost Rider was like 230 or something. But this man's 400. How do they weigh so much and look so just, like, fit? That's some bulky muscle, I guess. Bulkier than I thought it was. He's a former CIA assassin and also a former king of hell. Good to know. They've both ruled hell, apparently.
Look upon
Wild.
his edge wizard and despair.
Spawn would violently defend New York's downtrodden, while slowly uncovering the full breadth of his demonic powers.
He's like a walking superpower encyclopedia. He can fly, teleport, turn invisible and intangible, move things with his mind, make force fields, control the elements and the weather, and even stop time.
Okay, oh my god. Okay, so he just has every superpower that you could just want a guy to have. If you just wanted to give someone superpowers and make them the most powerful thing ever, this sounds like people had a meeting and they were like, okay, what is every superpower this guy could have to be super powerful? And then they just listed it off and gave all of them to him. He can control nature, he can stop time, he can fly, he can teleport. What is the point of teleporting if you can stop time? Tell me that. Isn't teleporting the same thing as stopping time and moving to the location you want to teleport to? Isn't it just the same effect? You do not need to be able to teleport if you can stop time. Well, unless maybe you have to teleport through a wall or something, and there's no other way through the wall, I guess. It has some niche applications like that. But he just has so many other powers that I feel like it's not even necessary at that point, you know?
Speaking of time, he can fly so fast, he literally breaks into other dimensions and smashes time as a concept.
Okay, so his speed is also immeasurable. He just can fly so fast he'll break time as a whole. You know what? I'll take back what I said before about how this guy might not be on par with Ghost Rider's omniversal abilities.
He can manipulate matter, shape-shifting his own body or transmuting other objects and people.
He can
Even control and
transmutate
absorb
stuff?
your soul.
Wait, Wiz, if he can rearrange molecules...
Wait, he can absorb souls. Okay, so he has the ability to attack Ghost Rider's soul. Right there, right? It was kind of limited, though. He said he could absorb them. And I don't have enough info on how that works.
and crap, why doesn't he just fix his uggo face?
Well, he tried to do that, but Malbolgia cursed him so that he could only make himself...
Yeah, let's not address that situation, huh? He fixed his face, but, you know, to what end?
Yeah.
Oh, it's petty trolling like that gets you a throne in hell.
To be fair, Spawn can achieve a similar result with illusions and mental manipulation. He can read and control minds, implant and replace memories, or...
So we're still... Oh my god, that's horrifying. Why did I pause it there? So we're still going with the new superpowers, huh? He can just control minds and read minds and all of that jazz.
simply drive you mad.
Spawn can do all of this crazy shit because he runs on necroplasm.
What the
Basically,
hell?
hell juice.
You're not wrong. Necroplasm is the energy that makes up hell itself. Al's undead body is composed of 400 pounds of it.
He can wield
Oh, so that's why he weighs 400 pounds. Because he's made of 400 pounds of necroplasm. There you go.
it like an energy blaster empowered by the sins of others. Spawn can absorb your evil and feed off of it. By simply walking on Earth, Spawn feels all of humanity's pain all at once.
He's even
Oh, so that's interesting. Do you think if he can feel all of humanity's pain at once and still be fine, do you think the penance stare wouldn't affect him? Feeling all the pain of his own past sins can't amount to all of the pain of every human being at a given moment, can it? It's worth thinking about, at least.
absorb the sins of 8 million New Yorkers instantly, cleansing them of their evil.
Like Jesus?
Or he can do
Wow.
the reverse and make you experience the full weight of your own sins, feeling every bit of pain you've ever inflicted on others over your whole life.
Oh, so he legitimately has the same exact ability. Except he doesn't have to stare into your eyes, does he?
Like some sort of penance.
Though Spawn's necroplasm comes with a catch.
Yeah, he's got unlimited amount of the stuff, and it drains every time he uses his powers.
Okay, so he has more power, I think. I think he has more capability to beat Ghost Rider, from what I'm hearing. But it seems like he's going to be on a time limit, while Ghost Rider can just keep going indefinitely. So that's sort of what we're going up against here.
If he runs out, he's dragged back to hell.
Even depowered, Spawn can rely on his elite military training in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah,
He's
so
even fought
he does have
Batman
that.
to a standstill.
And as befits his past profession, he loves his big-ass 90s guns.
Though his greatest weapon is
He has all these ridiculous powers, and he's still like, yeah, I'll carry guns around with me. I'll use my guns every now and then, instead of, you know, stopping time, or teleporting, or shooting energy at you, or controlling your mind. I'll just gun pew-pew at you.
the sentient being he's genetically and spiritually bonded to, his cloak. Letha of the 7th House of K.
You ever wonder why his cape's red? Nope, well, now you are, and it's red because it's made from the apple Eve ate in the Garden of Eden.
What? That doesn't look like any apple I've ever seen, I'm gonna be honest with you. But okay, his cloak is a being that he is bonded to. This guy is a lot like Ghost Rider. It's like they saw Ghost Rider and they were like, let's give him an ass ton of superpowers, but also make it so that his energy drains when he uses them.
It's literally made of original sin. Oh, and also the souls of a million sinners, including every one of Hell's victims. Also a touch of vampire for good measure.
Vampire?
K7 Letha is constantly evolving. It can act independently to defend Spawn with an infinite stream of chains.
He also uses chains. They both use chains. There's so many parallels between these two. No wonder they're in a death battle against each other. This is wild. He has a bunch of guns, from rocket launchers to necroplasma guns, whatever the heck comes out of that thing. He's got the God Fruit, which I don't know if we've gone over yet, but that sounds like it could be interesting.
Transform into weapons or drain people of their power. It is the most
Unless the God Fruit is just the apple that his cloak is. I don't know.
potent weapon Hell has ever created.
It even
Goodness.
helps Spawn beat the primordial dark god Urizen, who can destroy and eat your soul with just a glare.
Except the souls bonded to Spawn acted as a buffer, allowing him to survive.
You'd think with an arsenal like that, he'd be unstoppable. But Hellspawns have a weakness to holy weapons and can be killed permanently if decapitated by one.
Those
Okay, but neither of these two characters have a holy weapon, right? Ghost Rider doesn't have a holy weapon, and Spawn doesn't have a holy weapon, so they can't do that to each other. All they can do is attack each other's souls directly, and Ghost Rider seems more susceptible to that.
Spawn has managed to survive this in the past. No,
He's even survived a holy weapon before. Okay,
Spawn's greatest weakness is his own, how do I put this? Stupidity.
So Spawn fought this angel lady,
He's dumb?
Angela. Great name for an angel. She had
an angel named Angela. Wow.
this dimensional lance that could wipe Hellspawn out of existence, and Spawn got it. But instead of, being cautious around a mysterious angel weapon that hurts him, he just had to push the big shiny button and activate it on himself.
And so, Spawn was forever destroyed until he reconfigured reality to undo his own.
He was destroyed because he pushed the button on a weapon that was made to kill Hellspawn while he was standing right next to it. Okay, well, fair enough. I guess he's not the brightest. But, I mean, it's not like Johnny Blaze is really the brightest either, you know?
In existence.
There we are, good as new. That has to be the first time we've seen someone accidentally kill themselves and survive.
On his quest as Hell's greatest warrior, Spawn has defeated a serial killer ice cream.
But he just straight up reconstituted reality? I don't know if we can just skim over that. Can we just skim over that bit? Like, he reconstituted reality while he was dead and put himself back as a living person in that reality. I'm just, we just kind of skimmed over that little bit.
Man, a demonic clown.
Oh, what
and
the fuck?
even his old boss remade by Heaven into an anti-Spawn. He's even encountered other Hellspawn.
Killing bad guys might seem counterintuitive if you work for a Hell Lord, but it actually just adds more souls to Malvosia's army. An army Spawn would have to lead in a war with Heaven that had killed all of humanity.
Because the reason Malvolgia chose Al to be his commander wasn't that he was some great warrior. It was because Al had proven that he was the best at taking orders.
All his life, and all...
You know, I don't know if that's something you'd consider a compliment. Like, being selected as the leader of this afterlife demon army because you are considered the best at taking orders, of all things.
all his death, Al was nothing more than a hired gun.
But he knew it, and he would do so no more.
So Spawn marched down to Hell and ripped Malvosia's head off with a
Oh.
scream so loud it echoed through all of reality. Spawn became
What?
the king of the 8th circle of Hell.
His scream echoed through reality, and I guess that's how he became the king of hell, yeah.
As
Okay.
king, Spawn is literally a part of Hell itself, gaining access to an unlimited pool of energy that increases 100-fold with every heartbeat. He's effectively
Oh my
omnipotent
gosh.
in there, and strong enough to challenge other Hell Lords like Mammon and Satan.
He got so strong, the only thing left was to finally resolve the war between heaven and hell.
But Spawn needed help from the being who created this god and Satan to begin with, the mother of existence, Gaia.
She wasn't cool with her kids being total assholes, so she appointed Spawn to be the universe's savior.
By eating the fruit from the Tree of Life, Spawn became truly divine, capable of battling
Huh?
God and Satan in a stalemate for eternity that extinguished all life on Earth.
And each of them are powerful enough to create and control infinitely sized universes.
Spawn broke the stalemate by letting God and Satan destroy him, only for Gaia to separate the two from the reality they threatened.
Then, just like that time with the Lance, Spawn respawned and recreated the Earth. Poof, good as new.
Finally freed of the weight of heaven and hell,
What?
Al asked to be reborn as a human. But he knew in his heart he deserved to carry on his undead penance in perpetuity.
He's a creature of the 90s, Wiz. He won't be happy unless he can instantly brood over the injustice of his own existence.
Though if you threaten the alley,
So he could have made himself just a person again. He just didn't. This is a lot to take in because this is implying that I don't know if Ghost Rider can win. I think Spawn won their first death battle against each other, and I think Spawn's gonna win again. If he doesn't, I will be surprised, but I'm open to figuring out how he, okay, if I can finish my sentence, please. Hiccups, thank you. No, I lost track of it. I'm open to seeing how they explain it if Ghost Rider is the winner, but, you know, I'm kind of thinking Spawn's gonna win this.
he calls home, beware, because Spawn will turn whatever's left of your life into a living hell.
Gosh.
This battle is sponsored by DraftKings Casino.
Okay, I would normally take this time to talk about what I'm thinking, who I think's gonna win and why, but I think I've made that pretty evident over the past, little bit. Pretty much the entirety of Spawn's recovery, or that's not the word, his analysis. So, yeah, I think Spawn's gonna win because I don't think there's anything that Ghost Rider has on him. Like any stat, really. Maybe intelligence. But everything else seems just so out there, so outerversal. Granted, I doubt he'll have his God Fruit abilities. You know what I mean? Because that was an outside factor. But you know what I mean? I feel like... I don't know. They covered feats that require a factor that I don't think he'd necessarily have access to in a death battle situation. But if they brought it up, then it's probably a factor. So I'm just gonna go with Spawn, is my guess. And in terms of rooting, I don't really have anyone I'm rooting for. I don't really have a preference between these two characters. So I'm just gonna guess Spawn is gonna win this one.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for one hell of a death battle!
Let's check it out.
Nights like these drive men insane. Brimstone in the air. Something's coming. If it wants a piece of me, there'll be hell to pay.
Go back to the pit you squirmed from, Hellspawn.
Make me.
Oh, he's pulling out the guns. They didn't do anything, of course.
If you care, it's nothing personal. Vengeance calls.
Ooh. Are those numbers at the...
You fight like a bum.
You've earned your damnation.
He threw him into hell, but that's just gonna recharge him, right? Yeah, now he's got infinite juice. Okay.
Welcome to hell.
is just too powerful. I don't know if this is gonna... I don't know if Ghost Rider can do anything. Oh.
The vestments of the holy cannot disguise your wickedness. God forbid.
This could count as a holy weapon too, can't it? If he's divine. Oh shit, they ripped his wings off.
Oh, Simmons, your sins are innumerable. I am here to wreak vengeance upon
Look at
your soul.
look at the detail in that scene.
I eat sin for breakfast. Have a taste of your own goddamn medicine. It's like you said, nothing personal, asshole.
Well, there you have it. Spawn won. I was right. I was right. My guess was right, and I am proud. But damn, that was intense. That last scene was really cool. that was animated really well too. The detail on their faces and everything. It was nice. It was clean.
God damn!
Literally. This was a nail-biter of a battle that pitted Ghost Rider's immeasurable power against Spawn's skill and versatility. Let's break this down into 4 categories.
First up, power. Divine Spawn could match God and Satan, who could create universes.
Yep.
Similar in scale to Ghost Rider's bouts with a lot of the powerhouses in Marvel.
But Zarathos was different. Remember, his power can match that of Mephisto and Galactus, who can threaten all of Marvel's infinite cosmic reality, far greater than any cosmos Spawn has ever affected. Even though Spawn's battled and defeated
Really?
Satan in more recent comics, implying he's retained a level of power similar to his divine form, he couldn't match Zarathos in power alone.
Ghost Rider may
So
take
Ghost
power,
Rider
but
actually had
remember, Johnny
more
actively
strength.
Resists Zarathos' influence, so Spawn may have had time in the fight to learn and adapt to Ghost Rider before he went full Blue Fury.
And Spawn definitely had the edge in skill. He spent decades in military combat and is a master martial artist, whereas Johnny more so relies on his invincibility.
The ultimate dream power for a stuntman. Even with his crazy powers, Ghost Rider was a lot more direct than Spawn, pretty much entirely focused on attacking the soul.
Which doesn't bode well for his versatility. Spawn can stop time, manipulate matter, turn intangible, control minds, warp reality. The Ghost Rider had a much more limited arsenal by comparison. Spawn had a huge advantage
It's
in
true.
this category.
Though with his invincibility, way greater power, and the ability to scorch your soul to nothing, Ghost Rider could score the win through brute force, right?
Not exactly. The last piece of the puzzle is their resistances. Basically, who was harder to kill.
Yeah.
Spawn's constant mainlining of humanity's collective sin and pain meant he could survive attacks on his soul,
I even called that out. Look at that.
including the penance stare, just like he resisted a very similar attack from Urizen.
Best of all, remember the time he rewrote reality to undo his own inexistence?
There was
Yeah, that
nothing
felt
the Ghost Rider
weird.
could do to
I didn't-
overpower that.
I didn't know what
And that time
happened
with
there.
The lance wasn't planned, it was purely instinctual. He could replicate it any time he wanted, like in his fight with God and Satan.
So how do you put Spawn down for good? Well, you can't. At least Johnny and Zarathos could.
Unlike how Ghost Rider's soul has been vulnerable to attack before, like when Danny used the penance stare to depower Johnny.
This sort of thing actually
Yeah.
happens a lot, even in recent comics. The whole reason Johnny and Zarathos are bonded in the first place is because Zarathos' soul was manipulated by Mephisto.
And not only does Spawn have plenty of experience manipulating souls, he can replicate the effect of the penance stare itself.
And just think about that. A penance stare on Zarathos would mean he's feeling the pain from every penance stare that he's ever done. A penance squared.
The damnation stare, on the other hand, actively helped Spawn, sending him to hell where he gets a literal infinite power boost.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
just Spawn's soul powers that had spelled trouble. He had other ways to bypass Ghost Rider's immortality too, like transmutation, rewriting reality, or just straight up stealing his powers, which has worked on multiple Ghost Riders in the past.
Giving Spawn the final edge. Zarathos was almost unbeatable.
Yeah, I didn't have much to comment on because that's basically everything I was thinking. But, you know, they worded it a lot better and obviously covered things that I didn't even think about. I didn't know that Ghost Rider was stronger, though. I just knew they both had really strong omniversal, universal feats, right? One of them was fighting literal God and Satan, and the other one was fighting, you know, galaxy destroying characters. So I thought they were on par with that, but apart from that, I did think Spawn, you know, did have the upper hand on versatility and resistance, right?
A massive power advantage, soul destruction, immortality, but Spawn could counter everything thrown at him, and was too unkillable for Zarathos' strength advantage to matter in the long run against his crazier abilities.
That was one hell of a fight, and at least Johnny went out in a blaze of glory.
The winner is Spawn.
Next time on Death
Oh,
Battle.
who's fighting next? Oh, shit, that's Shigaraki. Shigaraki and
Subscribe join as a member to
Mahito.
see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Let me have the video up. So, that was a lot. It made sense. All of it made sense. It went the way I thought it would. But the next time, Mahito versus Shigaraki, that'll be interesting. I know nothing about Jujutsu Kaisen at all. I don't know who Mahito is. I barely even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I've seen him. I know what he looks like. I don't know what his name's pronounced like at all. Does he have anything on par with the whole disintegration of enemies type of thing? I don't know. Also, are they going to be giving Shigaraki all the quirks he has at the end of the series? Because that'll be really difficult to combat, to be entirely honest. That'll be a lot for them to tackle. But yeah. I think the next time's exciting. It's exciting, definitely. And at the time of recording this, I think it's going to happen in about 2 weeks, I think, given when this death battle came out. But yeah, that'll be exciting to see. But going back to this battle, it was great. It was really good. Because, like, it bounced between sprite animation, right? You had moments like these. But these sprites look really good for sprites. Like, look at the fluidity of these movements. Just in general. It's really good. It's really good even for sprites. Right? And sprite animation for me is generally the one that can be more hit or miss. But it looks really good. The perspective there when he was like jumping through the fog and all was really good. And then you have these little hand-drawn portions that look really good as well when they decided to get a little spicy with it. I really loved, I pointed it out earlier, hang on, when they were getting look look at the detail here. Look at this. This is really nice. And the fact that they're moving while they're doing that, like, the detail is insane. Because it's not just a still image or anything. They are actively animating these high detailed character models. And you look and you're like, it's still sprites. You look at it, it's made of pixels. These are made of pixels, but they're just super close up, super detailed, really good. I mean, Death Battle's just been on their A game for a while now, and I like to point out when I like things, and it's really cool. I'm excited to see how the next one goes, and this one was amazing. Even if I personally think the outcome was, like, unanimous, impossible to debate, at least given the information that they provided. I feel like most people should be like, yeah, Spawn should win that. And he did, right? I think it was overall a really entertaining episode. I enjoyed it a lot. So thank you for joining me for the Death Battle, and I hope you can join me for the next one.